Welcome to Under the Greenlight, where business owners share their story about entrepreneurship, open up about their greatest victories and challenges, and map out their journey from startup to success. And now here's your host, Demrie Henry, Managing Partner of Greenlight Tax Group.
Hi, welcome to the show. Today I'm so excited to introduce you to our next guest, Dan Ratcliff with Flooring Direct. And of course we have Melanie, who is always part of our podcast, just adding color and commentary. And I'm super excited for this guest because I've actually known Dan for, I don't know, how long have I known you?
20 years at least.
Long time. Way back to my radio days.
That's right.
Way before Flooring Direct, when it was Dish Direct, right?
That's correct.
So I'm super excited that you're here because you've been an entrepreneur as long as I've known you. Started, I guess, was Dish Direct, or did you have something before that?
No, that was my first company.
That
Dish
was your
Direct.
first company, and then now we've transitioned into Flooring Direct. So tell us about that transition. How did you go from television to doing like carpet, floors, wood, all the things, decorations?
Yeah, it doesn't seem to make much sense,
Yes.
does it? Yeah, it doesn't to me either. So yeah, Dish Direct was satellite TV.
Yes.
Dish Network and Direct TV. And so that business always was going to have a limited lifespan because Direct TV and Dish Network sell direct to the public now.
Right.
So I went on vacation. At the time I had a business partner. And I went on vacation at one point. We had been looking around for something.
Where'd you go? And now I'm thinking, where were you when you were on this vacation?
Oh, I have no idea.
No clue.
I don't
Okay.
even remember.
It's
no.
irrelevant.
Yeah, it's not relevant to the story.
Okay.
Let me work here, Demrie.
Okay. I'm giving it back.
So I went on vacation one time, and when I came back, my partner had bought this flooring company.
Okay.
That is now Flooring Direct. At the time, it was called Carol John's Flooring. It had one employee, and it was a friend of his. The guy was unhappy with the ownership, blah, blah, blah. It was a very small company. It was doing about, I don't know, $100,000 a year in sales.
Oh, wow.
So it was
Very
really
small.
small. Yeah, just basically enough for one guy to make a living. So Gary bought this company and immediately started trying to talk me into being involved with it. I didn't want to. My dad had been in construction management my whole life, and so I wasn't interested, but he kept talking to me, and finally talked me into getting involved.
So how many years ago was this?
This would have been around 2005.
Okay,
something
2005.
like that, yeah.
And so you then transitioned out of Dish Direct and said, okay, fine, I'm going to go into this flooring business with you.
Yeah.
And at the time, it was just you and Gary
Uh-huh.
and one employee.
Yep.
Okay.
Wow.
And you knew nothing. Well, your dad was in construction. So you
I
had
knew,
a little
yeah.
bit, but you
I knew
didn't
nothing.
really know what you were getting into.
No, I had no idea.
So
I knew I wasn't going to like it. That's what I knew.
but you're still doing it
Yeah.
almost 20 years later.
Well, I was wrong.
Yeah. So now let me ask you this. So you're in Gary's relationship. Who does what? What's your strength? What's his strength?
Yeah, Gary is no longer
Right.
with us.
I know that.
Yeah. So he was a CPA though.
Okay.
That was his.
So he's the business guy.
Yeah, he was a business guy, and I was the operations and sales side. So we lost him in 2010, February 2010, and so at the time we were just doing commercial.
Right, okay.
We were doing multi-family make-ready flooring, which is carpet, vinyl, tile in apartments.
Got it. Okay.
When they'll turn apartments, you go in and you do that. But my experience with Dish Direct was in retail, so I knew that that's the direction I was going to
This is where we have to go.
When we lost Gary, it kind of slowed that transition down. I had to kind of focus on surviving.
Right. Did you bring on another partner, or did you decide not to?
No, I did not.
Okay.
But, we got through that rough patch there, and, 9, 10, and 11, the same rough patch
Right.
the whole country went through. And so I started transforming it into a retail organization, a retail flooring company.
Right. But it's retail, but it's not really a retail store, brick and mortar, will people go in, correct?
Correct.
So we got to talk through that.
Yeah. It's what we call, in the industry, we call it shop at home.
Which is what everybody's doing now anyway. You're kind of ahead of the curve.
Yeah, exactly. But there's large national companies that have been doing it for many, many years. I'm not going to mention my competition here on
we're
the show.
not going to mention them.
But there is a model in place for that, and so we liked the model. That's kind of what we wanted to do. And so what we do is we create leads. We create in-home appointments with homeowners, consumers.
Right.
And we send outside sales reps into the home with samples. They show the samples in the home and try to write the business right there on the spot. Yep.
So have you, I'm sure you have some pretty sophisticated measuring, like have you looked at what's the closing ratio? How successful are you?
Yeah, those are the numbers we manage our business with.
Yeah.
Yes,
and have you noticed that it's the salesperson is directly sort of responsible, or have you looked at regions? Like, what do you think is affecting that? Or have you even noticed seasonality?
Oh, there's definitely seasonality for sure, but to kind of address your question, yes, it's the sales rep.
Oh, right.
It's all about the sales rep. And I think, one thing I've learned is from doing this business, this style of business, is that most companies don't focus enough on that.
On sales.
On sales.
Agreed.
Sales is everything.
Yep.
Because without it, you got no business.
Right.
So we're a very sales-driven company. Most of the companies in our segment of the industry are. And the ones that aren't, that try to focus more on operations or what goes into the mix, they don't stay around.
Right, no.
You have to sell.
Oh, absolutely.
And you have to sell for a healthy margin. If you don't do that, you're not going to stay around.
Well, and if somebody is inviting you into their home, number one, they're interested. They've taken time out of their day to make an appointment.
Yeah.
They're clearly wanting this product. You have a captive audience. Hello.
Yep.
And if they can't drive the business home, then you have to ask yourself, what was the problem?
Yeah.
Was it the product? Was it that they didn't clearly communicate, how you guys work or operate? I'm sure you guys think about all that. So how many salespeople do you have?
We have about 26 now.
26. Wow. Okay, that's amazing. And when you first started, you were doing,
We had one.
You had one.
Yeah, that was me.
That was you.
Yeah.
And now you have 26. And so what kind of training program do you have for these folks?
It's pretty extensive. We run, on average, run one training program per month.
Okay.
We try to bring in fresh people on a monthly basis, get them trained up. It's about a 2-week process in our office, in our showroom, with our sales coordinator, Tom Woods. They go through 2 weeks of training. We prefer people to have a little bit of either home improvement or flooring experience, but it's not required. What's required is that the personality type be correct.
Oh, for sure.
And so if we could find somebody that's got that right combination of assertiveness and willingness to ask for the business multiple times.
Know how to sell to a woman, because 90% of your customers are women?
No, not
Don't
90.
you think?
No, not 90. It's definitely more than half, but it doesn't skew as female as you. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Shocked.
Yeah, it's not as female as you would think.
That is interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, they definitely have to be able to do that.
Yeah, because it's a totally different dynamic.
Yeah, I mean, we have 3 female reps.
Right.
So that's nice.
So your top rep, how long have they been with you?
Top rep, 4 years, I think.
4 years.
About
Male,
4 years,
male or
yeah.
female?
He's a male.
Male. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Scott Osler.
Scott Osler. We're
Yeah.
going to do a shout out to Scott Osler.
He's a machine.
He's a machine.
Hey, Scott.
He's got some sort of magic happening. Everybody needs to kind of figure that out.
He does. He's really, really good. Like all great salespeople, he's able to create a lot of his own business.
Right. Well, probably from referrals. If he's really great, other people are referring him, not just Flooring Direct.
Yeah.
They're like saying, hey, you got to call Scott.
Right.
It's not necessarily Flooring Direct.
Yeah, and he also develops a lot through realtors.
Okay.
We've got a new realtor
great
program where we have an agreement that we'll do with a listing realtor and a listing homeowner, where they don't pay anything. They don't have to pay anything to get the flooring done. The realtor always wants them to get
That's
different
amazing.
flooring.
So that's good. We need to make a note of this because we work with a lot of realtors.
Yeah.
And this could be a great value that we could introduce to them that they may not know about.
That's right, yeah. So the way it works is we write a contract with them, and then we do, of course, we do the installation, whatever it is. Homeowner doesn't pay anything, but that contract then gets filed with the county, whatever county the listing the listing is in. And so then when the sale closes,
That's
the title
when you get
company
paid.
has to cut us a check.
That's amazing.
And typically it's not a check anymore. It's a
They
wire
just
transfer.
Wire it, right.
Yeah.
And so who came up with that idea? Was it Scott? Not that it matters.
Well, I
I'm
think
just
I did,
curious.
actually.
It was Dan.
Yeah, I did, but it's not a novel concept.
Right.
There's a company called Curbio that does it, all kinds of different home improvement projects.
wow.
And they do it. The difference with them is they put in their contract that if the house doesn't sell in 30 days,
You gotta pay 'em.
You have to lower the price 2%. You have to lower it 2% every
Right.
30 days until it sells.
And you don't do that.
No, we don't do
I
that.
love that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's amazing. So you have 25 salespeople. Talk to me about the other side of your operation. How many other folks besides salespeople do you have working for you?
I think we have 14 employees in the office. That's everything from warehouse to
Right.
The installation department, job sizing, and then of course management staff. You got operations,
Right.
accounting, general sales management.
Right.
So does your company install as well?
Yeah, we sell
Okay.
and install. Yeah.
Everything
Still
turnkey.
14
Oh, yeah, you
people. That doesn't seem like very many.
Well, that doesn't include all of the installers
Okay.
themselves,
Okay,
which
gotcha.
are technically independent
Right.
contractors.
Right.
Ding, ding, ding.
Ding, ding,
Yeah.
ding. Yeah, we can help those guys too.
Yeah.
So when you think about the like where you started and where you are now, and like how you've been able to kind of get there, what advice would you give to folks who are really thinking about, because we have a lot of clients that we work with that used to be in corporate America and that are just kind of sick and tired of all of the red tape and the bureaucracy and kind of want to get out there on their own and like, I don't know what to do, how to get started. What would your advice be to those folks?
To get started,
Yeah,
or
like-
to run a business. I mean, it's very different.
Both. I mean,
Thanks.
because you have to jump out of the boat, you
Yeah.
know, and take a risk because
You
it's
do.
a huge risk to run your own business. I
Yeah.
mean, everything is on your shoulders. I mean, you're responsible for everything. And so what kind of advice would you give if somebody's even thinking about that, getting out of the umbrella of, you know, total security in terms of monthly paycheck, but they're just sick of their job and
So
they want to
look,
do something on their own?
I'll just tell you, it was different for me because when I went into business for myself with Gary,
Right?
we were very, very good friends, had been for a long time, really closer to Gary than my own brother.
Right.
And I didn't have anything. I'd been a bartender.
You didn't have anything to lose.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have anything going.
Right.
You know, so we were able to do that together. Now he did. He was a CPA, had his own practice, but he was able to maintain that practice while we did what we did because I did most of the work.
Right.
And so he was the one that convinced me that I had something,
Right. That the numbers looked good.
and that I had the
Right.
ability to
Right.
do this.
Because you had experience with Dish Direct. Like he
No,
understood.
this was
Oh,
when
this-
we started Dish
Oh,
Direct.
this is just, okay.
Yeah, and I mean, I was, I don't know, 30 to 28 to 29, something like that. I didn't have anything going. And so we just did it and just worked
Yeah.
all day and night. And there was no, I'll tell you this, and I think I probably got this from my mom. It just never occurred to me to quit.
Right. That's
Just-
not, it's not an option.
Well, I mean, it never occurred to me that I couldn't do something,
Right.
first of all. And then once I got started, it just never occurred to me I just didn't consider
Right.
quitting.
Yeah,
You just
yeah.
keep going.
Yeah, just the
But
tenacity.
again,
and,
I didn't have kids to feed. I
Right.
didn't have a big mortgage to worry about.
Right.
No
So,
responsibilities.
Yeah, so my advice to people would be don't have anything.
Nothing to
Yeah.
lose.
Don't have anything, and then you can start a
you
business.
don't have anything and then you could start a business or just have a lot of tenacity and don't quit.
Yeah.
You know, just believe in yourself. I
Yeah,
mean,
for sure.
Really and truly. So when you're thinking about like you're really lucky because you had a CPA.
Right.
I mean, honestly, that is a huge blessing because a lot of the clients that we work with, when they come on board, they start and it's them doing everything, wearing all the hats. They're selling, they're creating all the processes and systems. They're doing all the financials. Oftentimes it's just on a spreadsheet in the very
know.
beginning,
Yep.
and then they're like, "Oh my gosh, what's happening? We're growing, and I'm outgrowing my own expertise as it relates to the accounting and finance. So you're really lucky in that regard, because without that, it's really hard to continue to grow and especially be profitable, because you have to be able to look at all those numbers and also be confident that they're right.
Yeah, if you don't have a set of books, you don't know if you're making
You
money.
don't know anything.
I mean, you know if the bank account's going up and down.
Right, but you don't know if the money's actually yours or not.
That's right.
Because
Yeah.
it could be other people's money
Yeah.
that need to get it. So
And with QuickBooks so widely available and
So
easy to
easy.
use, there's no reason not to
Right.
not to start out not with spreadsheets. Just put it in QuickBooks and
right, you have to have that. So
Yeah.
right now, tell me about your sort of finance team. Who is running your accounting operations within Flooring Direct?
So we just hired somebody.
Okay.
So we have a brand new controller. Up until
Internal. This is an internal
an
person.
internal person,
Perfect,
yeah. Up until recently, well, I'm still the CFO,
Right.
but up until recently,
Well, you're also the president and the owner and
yeah,
the janitor.
And
yeah. No, I'm not the janitor.
The janitor, you've outgrown that.
I don't do that stuff. So up until recently, we had one main accounting person. It wasn't enough. I
No.
waited too long to hire another person. But so typically, what we basically had was a bookkeeper,
Right.
controller who kept all the accounts payable and receivable up to date, did the best she could to keep the general ledger up to date. And then, once or twice a year, I would spend 15 or 20 hours
Going
messing
through
with
everything.
things and hating it every second of it.
Right.
Because having a CPA for a partner, I did eventually learn accounting, enough accounting to run an operation.
And to understand.
Not enough accounting to file my own tax returns.
No.
But to run a set of books, yeah,
Right.
I can do that.
Right.
I don't like doing it.
No,
but
no. Typically, the salesperson and like somebody in your personality and your talents, it's not the same as the accounting person
No.
with the talents.
No.
So yeah, you've got to be able to let that go.
You definitely don't want a sales guy doing it.
Oh gosh.
You don't want that.
No.
details.
Yes, a closer is not concerned with what
No.
money goes into what account.
Right.
No.
Right. So
Here's the file.
Right.
Put it in. I'm done.
Absolutely. So when did you hire your controller? Just recently?
Yeah, very recently.
Oh,
good. Like in the last 2 months.
Okay. No, that's great. You have to have that. And then
For sure.
Is it she or he?
It's a he.
He. So he's got to have. He probably has a couple of people working underneath him, right?
One.
Okay. Good.
Right now, one.
Yeah. And you definitely have to have that so that you can manage the money coming in and all the money going out, and then all of your inventory and things like that. It's the most critical piece of your business.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And to be fair, there are a couple of other people that work on that have various accounting functions, but are
Right.
actually in operations.
Yeah.
Running payments and
Things like that.
pursuing receivables and things like that.
Yeah.
So
So let me ask you this, kind of thinking about your company overall, is there anything about it that sort of stresses you out, or have you been in this long enough to be like, okay, I know how to get through these situations? Like for instance, when COVID hit,
Right.
nobody knew what that was going to mean to our business, our economy, or anything. So what was your sort of first reaction, and then how did it all pan out?
Okay, so again, I was in a different situation. Our company was in a different situation because very early on, the powers that be designated construction
Right.
as a
Essential business.
vital, essential
It's
business.
essential
Yeah, thank you.
business.
I couldn't think of the words. Essential business.
Mm-hmm.
And so as a flooring company, we're considered part of construction. Definitely home construction
Thank
and remodel.
goodness.
So even Dallas County, where we are, essential business. So we never had to close. We did pretty much close for that first week or two.
Right.
When everything shut
When
down.
everybody was like, the world is coming to an end.
Right. And so then we kind of worked with a skeleton crew for another maybe 4 or 6 weeks. But that was it. I mean, and it came back very, very quickly for us. And we were I mean, I wouldn't call it a high-flying 2020. It wasn't by any means, but we were able to survive
It was healthy.
without much fear, without much problem.
Did you participate in the PPP?
We did.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Did you get it forgiven?
Of course.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Of course.
What about any employee retention credit?
We did not. We did not do the employee retention because, as I recall, those were loans, right? Initially, those were designated loans. PPP was an employee retention.
So the SBC was a loan, which was different, and a lot of people did
SBA,
both.
yeah.
SBC. Why did I say SBC?
SBC, yeah.
That's
a phone company.
Yeah, that's a phone company. SBA.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, but the employee retention credit, that's actually, you get credit for keeping your employees, and that's something that shows up on your tax return.
Yeah. I think we have looked into that.
Okay.
But the PPP was essentially an employee retention program.
Oh, yeah.
You had to show that you kept enough people on the payroll during that time to get it forgiven.
Yeah.
And
thank
we
goodness.
did.
Thank goodness. And I think that during that time, because you and I had talked about it,
Yeah.
a lot of people, because they were at home and there's nothing to do and they can't go on vacation, like, you know what? Why don't I just fix my house?
Oh yeah, they were stuck at home
looking at the
those floors that they've been thinking about changing out.
So you kind of lucked out on that.
We kind of did.
That's great. And then you were able to keep all of your people afloat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And homeowners used their stimulus money to buy new carpet.
Yeah.
It was great.
Which is great because they're at home a lot and they're like, now we got time to do it.
Look, let's face it. That's what all stimulus is really designed for.
Right.
Is to keep money
just for floors.
In the economy. It's just for floors.
To keep money in consumers' pockets so they will spend it.
Right. So that we can put it back in the economy.
That's exactly right.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. So so you have 3 kids.
I do.
Okay. Set of twins.
14-year-old twins.
And a boy. Well, the girls are twins.
No, the twins are boy-girl.
Oh, boy-girl twins.
That's right.
Okay. So how do you juggle all the things, being a business owner, which all of the responsibility on you, plus, but then being a dad with all of that, because I have 3 boys too. She has 2 kids.
Yeah.
It's a lot. You're stretched in a million different directions.
Yeah, I do it in a very haphazard and messy way.
It works. That's all that matters.
No,
Am I supposed to be Mr. CEO? Everything's under control and organized?
No, you're totally fine with it. I'm just wondering, like it's hard to do that and it's hard to juggle, and so
it is.
And there's a lot going on. So what do you do to relax?
Look, it is hard. My son plays football, high school football. My daughter is involved in drama and
drama outside of normal girl drama.
Well, yeah, not that kind of drama.
Right.
Although I'm sure that's coming too. That's the 14-year-old Olivia, and then my youngest.
Yeah.
My youngest plays 3 sports at 8 years old. I mean, but she loves it. She doesn't want to quit any of them. So,
well, she doesn't want to quit like her dad. Her dad doesn't quit either.
Yeah, I guess not. Never occurred to her to quit.
Yeah.
But I coach her little soccer team, and that's fun. We dominate.
Of course.
Yes. Well, it's just super exciting to hear all the success that you've had, especially how long that I've known you, and you're still not only like doing great, but it seems to be getting better. So I really do want you to think about, and I know I've already asked you this, but as like all the kids going into college today, right?
Yeah.
It's a totally different mindset with these millennials and what the world looks like and how the world is shaping. What advice are you giving your own kids and maybe other kids as they're thinking about their career? And you say starting a business, make sure you don't have a ton of responsibility looming over you.
Yeah.
But outside of that, thinking from a business perspective, what do you think has made you super successful in this business, knowing when you went into it, you didn't necessarily have a passion for home construction and floors?
Yeah, but you know what I did have a passion for is figuring out how to make things work.
Well, see, that's great.
And figuring out how to look, I love having a company.
Yeah.
I love having a place to come to every day, and I love having people who answer to and depend upon their jobs. It's fun.
Yeah.
And trying to figure out how to make it all work and pay the bills is also fun.
So you're a problem solver, and you find satisfaction in that.
I do.
And I think as a business owner, that's probably pretty consistent. You have to be able to want to solve problems on a daily basis.
Because you're going to have them.
All the time.
There's no doubt about it. I'm lucky to have a lot of good people. You ask about my kids. You know, I'm not a big advice giver. I don't like to try to dictate to them all the time. Look, the 14-year-olds aren't going to listen anyway.
No, they already know everything.
That cow's out of the barn.
They know everything.
Yeah, they do, and especially my son, good Lord. But I do try to lead by example.
Yeah.
And they do watch what you do, and they're going to do a lot of those things that you do as well.
Absolutely.
And when they ask questions, that's when I try to...
Like sit down and have a very meaningful conversation.
Of course, yes.
Well, that's great. Okay, so thinking about questions, Melanie has some fun questions she wants to ask you.
Oh, boy.
This is all the fire thing. We're just going to dig a little bit deeper
I was
into the
warned
mind
about
of
you.
Yes, for
Dan
sure.
Ratcliff.
Yeah.
Favorite ice cream?
Chocolate.
Well, that's easy. So you mentioned football. Do you watch NFL or college football?
I watch mostly NFL.
Okay,
Yeah.
why is that?
Because college takes too long.
It takes too long.
I mean, my God, it's 4.5 hours for a game.
It is.
Especially Big 12 stuff. It takes forever.
So much fun, though.
Okay, who's your favorite team?
Pro?
Dallas Cowboys? Okay.
Born and raised in
Are you a
Dallas.
homer? You're a
How
homer.
question is
Good
that?
deal.
Yeah.
All right, favorite car?
Truck. God, that's so boring.
It's not boring.
What kind of truck? And
I have a Ram 1500. Yeah.
okay, that's good. Sun or snow?
Snow.
But you want to go to Hawaii, so
Yeah.
it kind of.
You caught me there.
I did.
Yeah, but I do. I love snow sports, and I love getting up in the mountains in the wintertime.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And last question: what's your favorite kind of floor?
Wood,
Wood floor. Yeah,
Regular
'cause you
wood,
can-
not laminate. Just
regular wood, engineered wood, or solid.
Yeah, because you can
Yeah.
vacuum it and clean it all up.
Well, it's timeless.
Yeah.
It never
No.
goes out of style, ever.
Yeah.
I've got some wood floor. It's 15 years old, still looks beautiful.
Uh-huh,
Real
that's
wood.
right.
So yeah, I agree.
That's how wood do.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Dan, for being on our show, especially at such. We've been trying to get you on the show, though.
Yes, you
For
have.
like 2 months, and I think, been in Hawaii. I don't know where you were, but you were gone for a long time. But we really appreciate you being on the show. It was really fun to learn about your business and talk to you. So thanks so much for being on the show. And that's it for our show today, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We hope you'll join us next time.